Okay, this is a continuation of the first video. I went over 15 minutes, and Screencast-O-Matic allows you to record 15 minutes. So I went over that, so I'm going to go through and try to finish up where I left off. Where I left off was we were creating the title slide. And again, you can go through and create your standards. And this title here, just like we did with the title slide, clicking on it, adding text, and adding that information in there. This one over here, you can go through and use this title to go through and create your objectives or your I can statements. And again, clicking and adding text on that. And then this tile down here, you can go through and use to go through and add in your vocabulary that you wanted to go through and either review, introduce, or both. And then what I have, you see I've already got some things in here because I didn't realize I was over the 15 minutes and I was still going. You can go through and add things into that. So let me delete these out. If you put some things in there you don't want, you can go through and delete them out. So that's what I'm doing now, is just going through and deleting those things out of there real quick. And over on the right hand side of your screen, what you can do is go through and in the top up here, and you need to click on the little shopping cart. I can go through and search for things. So here the topic that I searched for was oceans. And when I click on the search menu, then things come up. You can see this is a free resource. You want to check these things out though, because what I'm finding is on some of these is that some of them don't really work real well. So once you find one you think you might be interested in, if you click on it, you can then go through and click on preview, and it will come up something along the lines of this. It's showing you that this should be a PowerPoint, but nothing comes up in this. The reason is, what I found out on this is the first slide on PowerPoint on this one is blank, and the next one then goes through and has some oceans in it. So that's really not what I wanted to go through and put on here. So I may not want that one. So I can go ahead and click on back. This one I'd have to pay $3.55 for. I don't want to go through and do that. We found out this one was a bad one too, and I believe this one goes through and works okay. If I go through and I click on preview, it'll go through and show me what it is. And here again, it's a PowerPoint, so hopefully that one will be appropriate and what I need. It gives you this little tile here. If I click on that tile and drag it out onto these tiles, then there's my, and this is another one that I had trouble with earlier. For some reason it gives me an error in saving. These do work, but I'm just picking the wrong ones for right now for some reason. But what you can do is you can search, and it goes through and gives you basically things that you can go through and find. Some of them are charged and some of them are free. The next thing down through here is you can go through and search in Google. If I click on it, it's searching for oceans. If I like the Wikipedia one, I can go through and click and drag it out. And it puts the article from Wikipedia in there. So if students go through and they click on that, they're going to go through and see this article for Wikipedia. The next one goes through and does Google Images. So if I want a map, again, I can click on it and drag it out into my tile. And there's the map. If I want to go through and get pictures from Flickr, I click on that one. There's something that we used from this class. You could use that in your lesson plan. The next one allows you to insert a web page, and you can go through and find the web pages, and then you can click and or paste the URL up here, and then it will allow you to drag and drop that over into there. Another thing you can do with this is that you can actually go through and get the URL for a resource that you have in your Google Drive, and then you can put that into there and share it just like what we have been putting onto our web pages. There is a spot down here, buttons down here on the side, where you can actually go through and do that. There's the resource right there on the right hand side for Google Drive. However, in the past it has not worked for me. It asks you to log into your Google Drive, and you should be able to click and drag resources over just like what we're doing and everything else, but it hasn't worked. And to get around that, what I've done is I put the link in here, and then I can click and drag those things over in there. If Google Drive works for you, that's great. But if it doesn't, just realize you can go through, if you have a Google form or if you have a doc or a Google slide presentation, you can just get the share link and put that share link into here and link it that way. This is TES resources. The website that hosts LensSpace is called TES. It's an acronym for something that I don't remember. But you can actually go through and create things in here just like you do in Google Drive, and you log into your account and you can get those. Like I said, the next one is Google Drive. If you're a Dropbox user, you can go through and do that. And if you've already created something like your podcast, or if you created a video that you didn't upload to YouTube and that type of thing, you can actually go through and upload your own things into BlendSpace, and then go through and drag and drop those over in there also. So it's a really easy way to go through and create things. If you run out of tiles and you need to go through and add some more, if you click on Add Row, it will add another row of 3 tiles. So it adds 3 at a time, but you can go through and keep on clicking on them. If you want to go through and do a formative assessment or a summative assessment, and you want to create a quiz, you can actually go through and create that within BlendSpace. You just click on this Add Quiz, and will allow you to add some things into there if you want to. Up here at the top, if I wanted to go through and add some Common Core standards, I can actually go over here and choose a subject area. You see it pulls up over on the right hand side. I can choose my subject area, or math or language arts, and then I can go through and search for those standards by grades. So I'm going to go through and do we'll go do 5th grade because it's covering things up right now. And I search, and it will go through and then give me all those standards. And if I go through and want to connect a standard with that, I can actually go through and pull that out just like I do anything else, and it's putting that standard in there for me. If I wanted to go through and connect a subject with it, I can go through and click on these to go through and put the subject. Play just allows me to see what the students would see if I connected this, put it into Google Classroom or some type of resource like that. I can also print it out, but the important one is click on Share. When you're finished with this, you can just go through and use this link right here, copy that, and put it onto a button into your website, and that way I can go through and get to it. You don't have to do anything with privacy. It automatically by default comes up as anyone, so anyone with the link can go through and do that, which makes it kind of nice. And you can see down here at the bottom, you can also put it into Google Classroom, Twitter, embed it, email, or even Facebook, or create a QR code with it. So that is pretty much how you go through and work with BlendSpace. Like I said, it's a really nice way to go through and create an online lesson plan, and a way to go through and connect online things to your lesson plan. And you can actually go through and have students then go through and do that. Oh, up here at the top, you can go through and add a title in there too for your lesson. So that is it, all I have on BlendSpace.